I've got Gavin Tulloch here from SDS, and I've got Claire Kent here from Orkney College, and they'll be going through wee bits of their slide and their kind of jobs and what they do in the kind of whole option process. And Colin Nisbet is going to be speaking a wee bit about how guidance supports the pupils that we're going through. And please, because only a few of us, just feel free to stop and ask questions and all that sort of stuff. And we'll try and explain the very complicated process, which is the options for into fifth year and into sixth year. Okay. So I've got to point this thing a bit up in the air because sometimes the contact. So this is where it's not as good as it should be. Let's go this way. Okay, so the very first thing is really just to go over a few of the key, the dates. The option is the 4th of March, the options are due in, and really just where to find the materials on the website and just to talk you through, because it's quite complicated, particularly when you get to senior school, particularly in 6th year, because there's lots of different combinations that the pupils could be doing. So course choice has gotten wider than I suppose than ever before. So I realise it's quite complicated, so I'll try and guide you through it the very best I can. There's definitely work there on. I can show you. There we go. Can you see there if I stand here? Is that okay? So that's just the key dates there. As soon as option forms are done, if you hand them in, once I've signed all the rest of it, because I can then get cracking with the options process. It's my job to put all the different columns together, all the classes together, and try and make it all work. So it takes a wee bit of time. So any of the option forms are great, but nobody will be disadvantaged if you don't hand them in until the 4th of March, which is the closing date. Just a couple other bits and bobs. All courses at National 4, National 5 level count as a subject, and so are all the college courses. So when we look at course combinations, when we refer to these have 5 subjects, that includes advanced higher, National 4 and National 5, and college courses. And it's just to sort of get the right amount of courses for our senior pupils. Can you see okay? Am I standing right? Is that okay? And pupils going from S4 into S5 into higher subjects should have a pass in that subject already. The 6th years though can go and crash a higher. So that kind of means that you just pick a higher they've never done before and take it for the very first time in S6. And we're thinking by the time they get to S6 they're probably confident enough and a wee bit older that they can take on the workload of a course they've never done before in the past. 5th years can take an entire new National 5 course that they've not done before, and that's like a crash National 5. Okay, so that's a great time if you've done a subject. If you drop the subject to the end of the S3 that you kind of felt you made a mistake, there's a chance to come back and do that again at National 5, and then the following year do it at advanced, higher level. Some of the, for pupils doing hires at college is in column F for the hires. They can also pick up Skills for Work College on a Friday morning, which is column D, so it's possible to do 2 college courses. So 1 hire, 1 Skills for Work, for example. And there's 1 or 2 of the Skills for Work courses also in column F, so you could do 2 Skills for Work courses if you wanted in S5 and S6. So again, it's just trying to get that breadth of courses for the pupils. Just a couple of wee bits and bobs. Anybody's thinking of doing higher politics, we'd like them to have higher modern studies first. So that's just a wee kind of thing. And these builds on what previous skills. You'll see on the option form when we come to it, there's quite a number of smaller advanced higher subjects that are not in the column. I just try and fit them in, because sometimes the numbers involved are quite small. So I might have 3 folk who want to do advanced higher physics. I might have a handful of people who want to do, I don't know, music's a big one, graphic communications. So we just work around their study people really. We do have some open university courses available for S6 pupils. We'll have a look at them in a minute or two. And that's a really bespoke kind of offer for S6. And there's also East Goyle courses. East Goyle started off as the Gaelic medium, and it's kind of morphed into an online learning platform. And they're getting more and more interested in delivering courses at school. Schools aren't really touching yet. So for example, there's one, artificial intelligence. Very, very new, so again, just for 6 years, and we'll just try and fit that into the timetables as we go forward. These are the Open University courses. They're called YAS courses for 6th year pupils. Lots of really good ones. Arts, business, engineering, health and social care. We've also got these ones there in languages, law, math, science. These are self-study, more or less. You won't be in a 6th year pupil wouldn't need to go to any classes. We're not running classes. This is all done through the Open University. You'll have a tutor but essentially they'll be on the roll. So it's really for folk who've already got maybe their university qualifications more or less in the bag if they're going up to uni, and are just looking for something that's going to kind of enhance their understanding. So if you're going to go and do law at uni, for example, you've got your 5 hires, whatever you need. You know, lawmaking in Scotland might be a fantastic course to put in your personal statement as you go through UCAS. The 10 credits, that's a level 7 advanced higher level, that would be 1 column. MD attempt in the bigger courses, that would be 2 columns of study they'll need for these. So it's a big undertaking and not for the faint of heart, because they'll not have a teacher obviously encouraging them 5 times a week. They'll be expected to meet their own deadlines and just minimal help from the university. But we thought we'd put that in there because we do have some pupils who do 4 or 5 advanced hires. This kind of thing's perfect for them. These are the eScholar courses I was talking about, all very, very new, not offered really anywhere else within Orkney. And again, we don't know quite how they're going to work. It's North Lanarkshire, College in Lanarkshire running them, and they're going to have to dovetail the courses all over schools all over Scotland to try and fit timetables together. So anybody who's interested in these, for the 6th years, I'm just saying, put it down, we'll see how it fits in. It might not work, it might work, but it's just another offering for them, another opportunity. As ever, I always say this, there's going to be clashes in the subjects folk are picking. So it's my job to try and minimise the number of clashes. So you'll see already in the higher option sheets, there's some courses in the same column. It's just because we've not got infinite resources to run lots and lots of higher classes. So some classes have to be in the same place as other hires. And I try and fit them together, but I'll come and speak to the young people, say we've got a problem, go home, speak to the folks, come back in, and we'll see what we can do to fix it. So it's just to forewarn you that kind of happens. The college options, I'll come back, Claire's going to speak about this much more. The Orkney College brochure is online, so for more in-depth descriptions of the college courses, they're there. And just a wee reminder, for the pupils who do a college course from KGS, there is a bit of cost involved in that we send the skills work pupils up on a Friday morning, and they miss one other period of a higher course if they, one of their 5, if they go do a skills work course. And it's the same on a Wednesday morning, Thursday afternoon, they'll miss 1 period of another school-based subject. The college courses are super, so we think it's a small price to pay for the access to a different course at college. But just so you're aware, somebody would do the course with 5 rather than 4 rather than 5 periods for that particular option. We also, just when you're going through the college brochure, it's a couple of just slightly strange ones. Anybody who wants the course on nav must have done the skills work navigation course first. And check the level of college course. Some are only National 4, some are National 4, level 4 and level 5, some are only level 5. So just take just a bit of care when you're choosing the subjects, so you know what level that you're doing. Postgrad Foundation apprenticeships, and there's various options for these. You can do them over 1 year as a fast track if you're 6th year, and you can do them over 2 years if you're 5th years. And they're cracking, and Claire will go through these in a while, but there's lots and lots of career-orientated foundation apprenticeships that folk can do. Just a really brief thing, we'll be asking all 5th and 6th year pupils to sign a pupil contract, just to say they're going to kind of devote themselves to their courses, wear the dress code, follow instructions, etc., etc. And we asked the pupils and their parent carers to sign that. Because they're now volunteers, they're coming back to 5th year for the first time, they can go if they want, they can leave and go out to the world. So if they come back to school, we expect obviously our senior pupils to be role models for the rest of the school. Okay, these are the resources which are available online. Okay, I'm moving through this. I'm going through this quickly, but just so you know, everything sits on the school website, just under the options tab. And in there we have all the description of the school-based courses, and a little bit of information about choosing courses, that's sitting there. We have the actual option sheet itself, we'll come back to that in a minute to how to fill that in. We have the option sheet, and that's all the different courses on offer, and I'll come back to that later in the presentation. These are all the National 5 and Level 5 college courses. These are all the higher courses, KGS and the college. And at the very bottom are the courses for the 6th years, advanced higher and open university courses. And we also have our Orkney College brochure sits online too. And I think with magic technology, this should be your first site here, Claire. About that? Let's look at that. Yeah, okay. So I'll just let you speak. Claire will speak about the courses that we're going to start right hand button.
So, first thing first, you see we're now branded UHI Orkney. I think we're always going to be known as Orkney College, but we do have our new identity as UHI Orkney, just as we're part of the University of the Highlands. But we all still speak about the college, so it's what we'll always know it as. So we at the college, we partner and work alongside the grammar school, Stromness Academy and the IELTS junior high schools to extend the kind of timetable options for pupils. So anybody coming to the college for one of our classes in senior phase, it could be a combination of pupils from all of the schools. So just a bit about what we do. So senior phase is part of what we do. So we're a college, we offer school courses, and we're also part of the University of Highlands and Islands, so we do the university. We add courses as well. So when the pupils are coming to the college, they're joining all the other students, and we have students from across all the learning levels, so anything from access level to PhD. At the college, we do in-person teaching, we do online teaching, we do a blend of both, but for your children coming to the college, it will be face-to-face, it'll be in-person teaching. Where am I aiming this at now?
The computer at the back.
Further on the right? Okay, so the benefits are, so it's a great opportunity that's just part of their timetable. They're coming to a different learning environment, they're coming into a very kind of adult environment. It broadens, it gives them more options. You'll see what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to go into every option in detail, but you'll see the range of things that we offer. And it just, for those that are, it's a step towards employment, it's a step towards whether they're going on to college or whether they're going to university. It's just that transition. So they're in the college environment, they're being taught by our staff, they're being taught by our lecturers. So it just extends their experience. Technique to this.
Well, we'll come manually, just come into a slide. Easier.
Right, going back to COVID. Okay, so I'm going to, it's a lot of information to take in. So if there's just one thing that you remember from what I'm saying today, is that just come and ask us. Come to the college, phone the college if you want more information. As Neil said, the brochure's online. I have a couple of the brochures here if you want just a copy that you can take away to read. But just know that you can contact us at any time just to discuss what all this means and what all the implications are. So the first thing first is just kind of picking the right level. So for anybody that's old school like me, that's still thinking what's the equivalent of O grades or what's the intermediate 1s and 2s. So we put everything in the brochure you'll see has been given what we just refer to as a SQF level, that SCQF level. So that just gives you an indication of what level it's at. So level 4, level 5, that's kind of like what your O grade used to be, or your standard grade, kind of general credit, that kind of level. And as we go through the brochure, we just kind of go up. So it's going up from 4 to 5, and then we let you know what's at level 6, which is the kind of at higher level. It's that level of learning. So it's not saying that these are equivalent quality, it's just so that you can kind of understand what kind of level it's pitched at and what the course is designed to achieve. So at the college, we have National 4-5, exactly the same as at the schools. We have National Progression Awards, and we have Skills for Work. So they're at the same level as like a Nat 4 or a Nat 5, but these are designed slightly differently in that they're more kind of vocational based, they're more aimed at, you know, those that are looking for a bit more kind of closer to the world of work, closer to employment. They're designed to be more that kind of vocational qualification. We have foundation apprenticeships, which again are at different levels. The foundation apprenticeships that we do at the college are all at level 6, so it's at that kind of equivalent learning level as a higher. So foundation apprenticeships are the best of both worlds. It's kind of that more traditional kind of academic learning, classroom learning, with quite a significant work experience, work placement element built into it as well. And then we have our hires, and then what you can also do, and just to kind of add to what Neil was saying about, you know, Open University, we have some options if people end up with gaps in their timetable, that we have ones that join our HNC courses. So this is like coming after, so they're kind of joining post-school classes, if you want, and it just, if it fits in. So yeah, next one.
Okay.
Thank you. So this is at our level 4. So these are all either skills for work courses or national progression ones. So these are the ones that are aimed more at kind of the employment, giving that kind of closer to work experience. So we've got construction, craft and technician. So anybody thinking about trades, this is a really kind of good kind of entry level one. So they will be joining. So at the college we have our joinery workshops and our bricklaying courses. So they are in those very practical environments, and the lecturers on those are all past tradespeople themselves, so great experience. We have our events and hospitality, so that covers just a bit of everything. Professional cooking, events, you know, they set up and they arrange events, front of house, so they run, when they're in college, they actually have the cafe open and our training restaurant, and they're actually delivering a service to the public. Coastal navigation, there's our lecturer Mark out on one of the boats enjoying that. So if they're doing coastal navigation or the other maritime, they will be based in Stromness. So we have the NAV school in Stromness, so that's where the pupils will go for those courses. Orkney Investigations is one where they work on a project. So they're working on a project to do with Orkney, so it involves actually making, ultimately kind of producing a product. So they will decide on the product, they will investigate the product, they'll do the research that's necessary, and then they will actually produce the product available at the end of it. So it's kind of like Young Enterprise, anybody that's been involved in that in the past. And then we've introduced work placements this year, so again, you'll see that at the higher levels as well. So this is something, it's likely, given the number of kind of, because obviously this is going out into local businesses, local organisations, so we're a bit more limited in numbers. We've not done it before at this way, so we'll see what the demand is. But it may be that because there's limited opportunities, there's limited placements, it might be that it's prioritised for those that are going to be leaving school and won't necessarily be able to do it for the following years. Next one please, Neil. So then this is going up to the next level. So the next level qualifications include the NAT 5s, Skills for Work again, but it's the Skills for Work at this higher level, and National Progression Awards again, but again it's at this higher level. So this is what I mean by a lot of information and a lot of detail and a lot of kind of new terminology. So we have a lot more options at level 5. So again, instruction, we're moving to psychology. So psychology we're doing at NAT 5 and we're doing as a National Progression Award. So the difference between that is, so the learning level's the same, but the NAT 5 includes an external exam. So that it includes an exam as you normally expect with your NAT 5s and your higher. The ANPA doesn't have an exam, so it's a slightly different qualification. So both are at the same level, but it ends up that what you get on the certificate will be slightly different because one has the exam, one doesn't. Engineering, very practical, again workshop based. We have early learning, maritime, which would be in Stromness. We have our rural skills for anybody that's interested in agriculture. Our access to apprenticeship in land-based engineering, quite a mouthful. So that again is agricultural focus, so that's agricultural engineering, anybody that's interested, that may be interested in that. It's a kind of introductory level course. Energy covers renewable energy, more traditional forms of energy. And then we have our computing suite, which is our games design and development, systems hacking and forensics. So anybody that's looking to be an ethical hacker rather than a criminal hacker. It's a really interesting one, and then social media productions. Thanks, Neil. So then our options at foundation apprenticeship. So these are the ones that I mentioned that combine the kind of traditional academic classroom based and then with the work placement. Normally they take 2 years, so it's more of a commitment. So our social services and healthcare and our social services, children and young people, they're available as the 2-year option, which means that they kind of do the kind of classroom based first, and then the placement comes in the second year. But we also have a fast track option, so that's more of a commitment, that's more time out with the school timetable, because they're doing the classroom based part, the traditional classroom based part, and they're doing the placement part in 1 year, so it's a much bigger commitment. And business skills is only available for that fast track option, so it's more intense. So again, that's the work placement is out in local business, local organisations, local industry, so it's that kind of real work experience. Thanks, Neil. And then we have our hires, which folk are more familiar with. So again, it's just extending the options that's available at the school. So these are on a Wednesday and Thursday as part of their timetable. So the kids just come to the college. It's very busy on these days. And so it's care, childcare and development, psychology or economics. So all of these are very the traditional route, and that it's the learning throughout the year with the external exam, with the SQE exam at the end of it. And then we have an MPA in travel and tourism. So it's at the same level, but it's an MPA because it doesn't have that exam at the end of it. And again, we can have our work placements. So these are just options. Again, if later on, once timetables are settled, once people know what they're doing, if there's any gaps in timetables, then there's the option to join any of the HNC classes. So we have, for example, we have ones that are interested in marketing. So they've joined the marketing class of our HNC in business. So they've just joined the existing class. The only complication is we can't say at this point what day it'll be or what time it'll be. So it's just this kind of matching exercise that we do with the schools. And then we do offer some degree modules, first year degree modules, which is kind of the advanced higher level. So it's kind of anytime, anywhere. So it's like the Open University. But it's done on a self-study basis, and that could be delivered from any of the partners within the University of the Highlands and Islands network. So again, it's just things to explore once timetables become more settled. And like I said, that's a lot of information and a lot of detail. So the only thing you remember is that we will have the contact details, and you can just give us a phone, come in at any point, just to talk through what's actually involved.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Claire, that's super. Try one more time with this and see if it will work.
You're looking at.
No chance, probably. So I'm just going to talk just a wee bit about the option column itself. As I said earlier on, for people who's going to 5th year and to 6th year, they can choose any of these courses here. The National 5 ones at school I just try and fit in, so there's not a column attached to them. It's my job to fit them together. The college courses here, the vast majority have to go in column D. And I'll come back to that and look at the option for them. There's a few exceptions to that, but land-based engineering is in F, and so I think is energy. And the higher college courses are all being column F. I'll come back to them in a minute or two. And a normal option kind of form would look something like this. just did a kind of mock here. The column's really important. So this person's chosen energy, so it's got to go in column F. Decided to do higher history, they're after Moan Hart, your history teacher. They went for C, I had to put that in there. They decided to do higher human, that's got to go in D. And they're going to have another go at the National 5 Maths. Didn't quite work out in 4th year, so they're going to get in 5th year. And because they've got 4 hires here, plus a National 5 course there, they would get a column of study. I've also asked them to put down 2 reserves. The pupils then go around the school and they have a chat with the principal teacher who then sign off the choice, just to make sure we've got folk going into the right level and we're not signing somebody up for a course they're not going to manage to do. So it's a kind of a final check. And like I say, I sign anything to do with college, and then it's my job to fit all this together into the 6 columns across the school, which all account for 5 periods. So that makes up 30 hours of study. This presentation's online too, so if anyone wants to go through it again, these are the teachers that sign off for signatures. So if somebody wants to do drama, they go to see Mrs. Slade, has that conversation, I think you can do higher drama. She says that's great, you did drama in 4th year, worked really, really well, perfect. Or your 6th year, if you ever done drama before, that's okay, you do it as a crash hire, I'll sign you up for that, and you take it from there. Now I'm really glad that Colin's here in Cavan as well, because there's obviously lots of support required to go through these options for us. And Cavan, do you just want to say a few words about this slide, please?
I want to get over this chair.
It's quite comfy that, yeah.
You chose it.
I did, I'm not.
I'm surprised anybody ever leaves the library.
I know, it's such a lovely, comfortable place. So, my name's Karen Tulloch. I'm one of the careers advisors that works in the school. So I work for Skills Development Scotland, and we're a national government organisation that comes in and provides career services with trained careers advisors in all state secondary schools in Scotland. So we have 4 careers advisors that work across all the schools at the moment, and we do quite a lot of support when it comes to subject choice for your children. So the way that we work in schools is that we have a targeted service. So we meet with guidance at the beginning of the year, and they give us a list of people that they want us to catch up with, and that's based on their knowledge of your children and kind of the conversations that they've had with them. So pupils are referred by guidance and pupils refer themselves. So we have various different ways of pupils referring. So there's a list Mr. Stanley has in the library here. Often young people put their names down there. They can speak to their guidance teachers and ask them and discuss it with them, or they can just contact us directly. I think I was in on Monday and I had about 4 folk coming in, and sometimes they come in troops to ask us for career appointments. So what we do is we add them to the waiting list then, and we see a mix of people who have been referred and who have referred themselves throughout the year. But this is a kind of pressure time of year for us because we get a lot of requests of folk coming to see us. So parents are welcome to get in touch with us if there's anything that you want to ask us about. We usually attend parents' evenings, however we want the senior phase one this year. We have the Career Centre, which is based in town, so it's the white building on the corner of Bridge Street and Albert Street next to the Frozen Food Centre, so we can see people in there. The one thing that I would say is that every year we see pupils in S5 and S6 after they've gotten underway with it for a wee while that maybe don't feel very happy and settled and comfortable in senior phase. So we're always there to talk through these things with them if they feel that they've made the wrong choice. So if your young person is swithering about whether to leave school or stay on, the good news is that we don't stop working with them then. We can keep working with them, and it's our role to support young people into positive destinations, and that's not always S5 and S6. Sometimes there are other things that are better options, like apprenticeships, just working, thinking about going away to college, or getting involved in some of the other youth kind of training options in Orkney as well. So and you know, we would work with them until such a time as they don't need us or want to speak to us anymore. So yeah, there are sections on our My World of Work website that you can use as parents and carers to find things out. Colin's got a list of careers websites that are really extremely useful, but if you get confused by that, you can always get in touch with us. I have to say we are at a pressure time of having reduced staffing numbers at the moment. So we are trying really hard to get through all the people that need to see us, but there might be a bit of a longer wait than normal. So I think I've covered everything, have I?
Yeah, smashing, Carol, thank you.
I will, very well, sir.
And Colin, would you like to say a few words just about
Yeah.
the support, the huge amount of support
I
available?
don't know if Neil made that dodgy joke about spending Valentine's Day, but I was delighted when Neil said, "Can you come along and speak tonight?" So the main thing is echoing what everyone else has said so far. If you've got a question, ask. Whether it's through your young person, whether it's through email, picking up the phone to us, we are more than happy to help. Obviously, the fourth years, if your young person's in fourth year just now, they're still very much within the house system. So it would be Mark Berry for Farah, Wussy Fogel for Coppensay, or Bridget Taylor for Einhallow. Myself and Rupture Woods, we split the 5th and 6th years between us, and that's when it gets a little bit confusing, because on the registers the 1s are with Rupture and the 2s are with me, which means nothing to anyone apart from school, because it's how we register the students. But ultimately, all of these informations that are behind me to do with email addresses and whatnot are on the school website. Our role within guidance is really just that kind of big signpost to the young person. They might come with a question: how do I make these columns work? I'm not sure. In which case it's, well, it might be a bit of compromise. Are you thinking of staying till S6? If not, that's okay. What's more prevalent, what's more relevant to what you need to do for your future? What's going to open perhaps more doors to you? Equally, it could be a case of coming knocking on the guidance door and being like, I can't remember who signs me up for graphics, and it's just as simple as Mr. Woodrow, and send them on their way. Equally, we're more than happy to meet parents and carers and guardians one-to-one and go through the whole options process if that is a desire or a need. Ultimately, I think Neil's covered most of it. We're here to help. Often one of the things we do is we encourage students to be realistic and positive in their options. So say, for example, they're currently enrolled for National 5 Maths. We want their mindset to be, I am passing National 5 Maths this year. We want them to be realistic, of course. The prelims have just been, that will have been a kind of indicator of where they're at just now. But we want to avoid, where possible, students choosing to put down courses they're currently doing, because the mindset then is, well, it's on my timetable for next year anyway, as they go into the exam period. So what tends to happen is that when those results come out in the summer, myself and the rest of the guidance team, we sit down with students and we make changes to the timetable. For good and not so good reasons. You know, somebody's done better than they expected in the final exam, in which case they want to do a new subject at a higher level. Equally, they might need to recourse and look at the previous level because it's not gone to plan. Life happens. Equally, they might have had a eureka moment over the summer and they've done some work experience, or they've found their dream course somewhere and they now need a particular subject. So we're there to kind of signpost, and I've always said to my students that I'm not going to pretend I know all the answers, but I'm certainly going to reach out to folk like Karen and Neil and the college that are far more closed up than I am in certain things. So I think that's the gist of it, Neil. Ultimately, please ask, that's the key thing. On your way out, I'll put the handouts there. It's 5 websites ranging from My World of Work that Karen's referred to, the Skills Development Scotland website. Planet Plus is another really useful website that I use a lot in school. Apprenticeships.scot, which has got lots of information, not just about vacancies, but also what is a foundation apprenticeship, what is a modern apprenticeship, what is a graduate apprenticeship, and what's the difference between them all, because there's a lot of terminology out there. There's SAS, which is more about funding for college and university in the future, but it's nice to forward plan. And finally, you've got Discover Uni, which again, for that forward planning aspect, looking at kind of surveys and statistics about different university courses, because often our young people will find the dream job or find the course and work backwards from there. Are they doing the right courses? Have they got the right number of hires, national 5s, etc. by the time they leave us? because ultimately we just want them to have the best suite of qualifications to their name to open as many doors as possible. And if that means they're leaving us with 4 advanced hires, but they choose to stay in Orkney and explore an apprenticeship in bricklaying, fantastic. You know, we want them to have as many qualifications that are open in these doors and to have their choices. So I'll leave those there at the exit. Please feel free to help yourself. But there's way more than you guys, so I'll be expecting something.
Okay, thank you, Colin. We're almost there, folks. I know that's a huge amount of information. The last really thing I just wanted to say, which is about the different course combinations in the senior school, because we expect our senior pupils to do a certain amount of courses. So the 5th years are, I suppose, more straightforward. Between 5 hires, that 6th column becomes a column of study. Usually where a teacher sits in a classroom 5 times a week where they get a chance to do their homework, catch up, do revision, etc. And we still think if you do 4 hires plus a national 5 or a college course, you still need that study to support your learning. Beyond that, we usually encourage folk to do the 6 subjects. 3 hires, 3 subjects, 2 hires, 4 subjects, 1 hire, 5 subjects. We know everybody's at different stages of where they are in their learning. So some folk will be coming back for 5 hires, some other people will be coming back for 4 national 5s and 2 college courses at level 5. So it's trying to gear it up for all where folk are at different times. 6th years are a bit more complicated. At the top there, MDU's taken on 3 advanced hires. That's the 3 courses that they'll be doing, and there'll be 3 columns of study to try and support that. There's a massive jump to national 5 to higher. There's an enormous jump from higher to advanced hires. So these tend to be pupils that are getting ready to go away to uni, an awful lot of them, not all, but quite a few. There's a lot of self-study. Sometimes you don't get 5 periods in that particular advanced hire because there's only 2 pupils. So they only get a couple of periods and the rest of the time self-study. And then you can see it yourself, 2 advanced hires, 2 hires, or 1 hire in the subject, and so on and so forth. The vast majority of 6th years have got at least 4 courses and 2 studies. Quite a few have got 5 courses and 1 study. And that's where it's going to work. There's obviously exceptions to this. Somebody might go, I've got some lined up, work experience lined up, or whatever it might be, and we tend to work and try to do it bespoke. Tend to inform. That's just a guide as to the number of courses folks should be picking up. And that is me, and that's us. So that's an awful lot of information. We'll just be kicking about for the next while. If anyone just wants to have a chat, all of these resources are online. We've recorded tonight. I don't know what weeks we're moving about, but we've recorded it anyway, so if you felt you need to watch it back, you can. But thank you very much for coming along. Like I say, we'll be here just for the chat. Thank you. And thanks, everybody. That's much appreciated. Thank you.